Armor Demon Hunter. Goal of the deck is really just to build the biggest starship possible with as many Arcanite defense crystals as possible. That's going to keep us safe in some of the longer games with the amount of armor that we're able to generate. And then the really big starship is going to have Rush with Wind Fury. It's potentially going to have Divine Shield. It could buff an existing board. And a lot of times just a really big starship, thinking like 15, 20, or even significantly bigger, is going to be enough to just be able to overwhelm your opponent. So the deck is kind of built to be able to build those starships. Ferocious Fellbats, of course, giving us more defense crystals. We have the return policies for additional Fellbats, for additional defense crystals. Carnivorous Cube can be used on any of our Death Rattle minions, including the starship after launch. And Rest in Peace also included in this particular version of the deck. Again, just to be able to get another big starship in play. Big starship dies. Oh, baby. Here comes the second one. One particular note about this deck, for me personally, I think it's more fun than it was in previous iterations. You're not going to see Kil'jaeden anywhere in here at all. Kil'jaeden, for me, just a little bit unfun and not even necessarily that good. It seems like nobody is really running it in Armor Demon Hunter really anymore. But the deck does include now a way to be able to kill your opponent, really in the form of an OTK, although it takes a little bit of setup in order to get that done. But if you can imagine having a big starship, say 15, 20 attack, or even significantly more, you can actually use Dissolving Ooze on your own very large starship. It's going to give you a 2-mana buff to be able to buff any minion that you would like with the attack and health that you were able to get off of that starship. And Kayn is going to be a prime target for that. It has charge, it ignores taunt, and it can potentially allow you to just go face with a really big minion. 20, 25, 40, 45 attack Kayn, being able to hit your opponent and finish them off, even through, for example, a board of 3 or 4 Tortolas or a Ziliax or whatever those taunts might actually look like here. So the deck potentially having more lethality than it's ever had, so it's not necessarily going to be just sit back, armor up, and wait for the end of the game. General Mulligan for the deck, we're going to look for our early starship pieces, Dimensional Core, Fell-Fused Battery, as well as the Shatter Shard Turret, I think are mainly the cards that we're going to be looking for in the early game in terms of the general matchups. Up against Warrior here, we're just going to keep to the standard Mulligan. We would like to see some early starship pieces, and I think you can also keep an Arcanite Defense Crystal here. Assuming this is Mech Warrior, which I've been seeing more and more of, I feel like we're likely favored into this matchup. We just need to keep in mind how much damage our opponent can do with Umbra at any given time, so we're going to want to track how many of the testing dummies have died, if that's going to be the case. I was playing Hearthstone earlier today, and it felt like the game was just being mean to me. I hit a losing streak, and really had to stop and think to myself, what can I do to, maybe get a win here and there. I feel like Hearthstone is a lot more fun when I'm actually, winning. I like my wins like I like my coffee. Now. But anyway, and we see that it's actually going to be a bit of a different warrior. We're going to get the starship piece in play here. Not a whole lot of decision making in these early turns. Warp Drive, I'll probably just play it, even if this doesn't die. I think the full cost cards are fine. Discount would be nice, but if we don't have anything to do on turn 3, we're going to spend our mana and just draw some cards. And we're going to be up against like a control warrior, so potentially they're going to be getting a lot of armor. So we're going to have to find a way to get through that. Interesting choice for them to play the Mixologist here. I guess they're really just hoping for 3 damage to be able to remove this. I don't really know why they would coin that out. We are just going to draw cards, spend our mana, and we go face. Arana, it kind of seems like a bit of a strange inclusion in the deck, but you have to run Arana in order to be able to play the Rest in Peace, and the Rest in Peace is definitely worth it. I think occasionally you can find a game where you just play this and swing into a big minion on the board to get a little bit of value out of it, but it's really more of a deck building requirement, maybe than anything else for this particular deck. And this is a pretty straightforward turn. We're going to draw first here, of course. And we're going to play the Tusk Piercer off the top. And honestly, we could swing and re-equip and just go ahead and draw a Death Rattle minion. It would be nice to go ahead and draw Death Rattle minions off of the Death Rattle from the weapon rather than just drawing them naturally in the deck. Kind of allows us to thin our deck, and I think I like the play. We do already have a Arcanite Defense Crystal in hand, so this is going to be just fine. That'll be our play next turn, and likely we play this one, just to keep this a secret from our opponent that we actually already have it in hand.
This place well.
And we see the Elise come down. I'm assuming they're taking a 5-mana location, and it's probably pretty likely that they're going to take the 2/1 Rushers if they're offered. So we don't necessarily expect the Defense Crystal to survive this turn, but if it does, at that point we could consider using the Carnivorous Cube. I think one of the mistakes that you can make with this deck is maybe trying to play for too much value rather than just playing your cards. So we want to make sure that we play the minion first, then we're going to attack with this guy, and I'm just going to go ahead and swing. We don't really need the one attack from the weapon. We would rather just use the Death Rattle to go ahead and draw a Fellbat here, because this is likely to die. Figure something out for turn 6 into Fellbat for turn 7. And we actually see this is kind of like a hybrid style deck. I was really not expecting the Boom Wrench here. But that's actually just fine. So likely on turn 6, they did play an all-you-can-eat, so they're going to play the test dummy, and they can actually proc the Death Rattle twice, equip the 1/1, swing with the 1/1. I don't think it's going to change our play. We're still just going to get down this Starship piece, and we're going to push damage face here. Next turn, we'll just Fellbat, and then the following turn, we can return policy. So we should be able to have enough health to be pretty safe here, even in the face of the damage coming off of the target dummy. I'll also copy it. The 1/1 target dummy for 8 extra random damage is really good. But they're also at 10 health, and we're sitting on a cane, so we do have that going for us. And we're expecting a lot of our board to die here. A lot, but not all. So important to keep in mind here, at this point, none of the testing dummies have actually died yet. So we want to keep that in mind for how much damage our opponent can do with the Umbra. And then we're going to get down the Fellbat. And the question is, do I want to kill the 1/1? Play the Fellbat, kill the 1/1. Essentially the Fellbat dies. That go ahead and gets additional pieces for the Starship here. I think it makes sense. I mean, if I hit here first, I'm taking all the damage to my face. And I want to try to maintain as much of my health as possible. So I'm going to play that first. And just kill the 1/1. This dies. I'm not super concerned about that 4/8. And you can see here, that actually soaked 5 damage into that minion and got the Starship. So we're still sitting healthy at 30. Our opponent has had 1 testing dummy die, so the Umbra is going to still be pretty weak here. And again, we're just going to keep track of that throughout this entire game and make sure that we know how much damage an Umbra will actually do. You can see the Starship, once these die, is already going to have 18 attack. Next turn I can return policy for a couple of more of these crystals, and it just gets big really quickly here. Could even consider a Carnivorous Cube. It's going to depend on what our opponent is going to do. They play Cube of their own. And our opponent is actually just at 5 health here. But we only have 4 damage. Is there any way to guarantee kill them? I don't think there is. Pain is 3. Arana. Let's see, red card. Swing into a minion. we could have a 1 out of 3 lethal. That doesn't seem good enough. We're going to win this game if it goes long enough anyway. So I think I'm just going to keep to my game plan here. We're going to proc the Ferocious Fellbat. Going to get down the Dimensional Core, and I think I may actually just go ahead and red card the Carnivorous Cube here. And we'll just Hero Power Pass. Without some type of healing from our opponent, if any of this survives, we probably just have lethal with the cane. And the game will end on the spot at that point. Could also just rest in peace to get another Ferocious Fellbat. The downside of that would be that it's going to create another 4-8 for our opponent. We probably don't want to do that. We're going to try to keep their Umbra as weak as possible. Again, right now I think it's only been just the one minion that's died. Not overly concerned about Tortola. We're not overly concerned about Ziliax. If Tortola does come down, we have to be a little bit careful because of the Crazed Alchemist play. But outside of that, we should just be fine. We do see the Tortola come down here. And the Kekam Rekam. I believe we are... It's... they likely swing to clear the board. Yeah, the board is cleared, so we have 4 damage. Again, we do have to be a little bit careful. This can be 25 attack if they have the Crazed Alchemist. It's not super unlikely that that would be the case. A quick check, we do not have a guaranteed lethal. I can just launch this Starship. It does not have Rush, which isn't the greatest, but it is just a 28-35 minion that's going to prevent us from dying here. And that's likely going to be our best option. I really wish we had a Shatter Shard turret inside of it. The Rush makes it certainly very nice. But if this minion survives, which I think it's likely to, then we just get to kill him with the cane next turn. So launch is going to be the safest, best play that we can possibly do, I think. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. Not be too super greedy here. And we can just pass our turn. When this Starship dies, it's got 6 defense crystals in it. That's going to be 24 armor for us. We're sitting at a pretty healthy 41. Our opponent, I'm going to say they just can't kill us here. And I'm not even sure they can remove the 28-35. So we're likely just killing them. There may be 1 copy of Brawl here. But if there is, we get healed for a ton. We just create another one. If they use the Crazed Alchemist and trade the Tortola, again, that's not super bad for us. We do lose our minion, but we heal a lot. We create another one. Just continue the game from there. Still 7 mana, and I think there has now been, that's the 3rd testing dummy that's died. 2 1/1s and then 1 of the 4 8s. No random spells. I don't believe they're going to be running an Execute here. And yeah, that's just going to do it. We'll be able to cane and kill our opponent. So the beauty of cane in this deck, you don't even have to have the OTK. We're just going to be able to punch them for 28 in the face right now. Nobody beats the 5-5. The 5-5 is me, by the way. Against Rogue, I'm going to keep the turret and the defense crystal. I think this is likely a bad matchup for the deck, depending on how quickly the Rogue can do their thing. So we'll have to see how it goes. For some reason, they always have Space Rock Collector on 1. They actually don't have it here. Crazy. I'm going to save the weapon swing in this particular matchup. I might actually want to use it to remove minions. And unfortunately, they've already drawn a bunch of cards. We will pass turn again. So on the plus side here, we do have Defense Crystal and Rest in Peace. I don't really want to Rest in Peace just for a Defense Crystal, but if it comes down to it, that may be what we have to do. Shatter Shard Turret, pretty obvious play here. I'm just going to continue to hold the Weapon Swing. I mean, I've already got the Death Rattle minion that I really want, and that I'm going to be playing, possibly even next turn. So I can hold the Weapon Swing to be able to kill like one of these 1 or 2 health minions. Relatively important to just kill the minions on our opponent's board. We don't want them to be able to potentially Shadow Step and replay just to draw cards, but they're drawing their deck really quickly here. I would like to push 4 face, but maybe it's just not relevant in the matchup. I mean, I could Warp Drive and Dimensional Core. They've already played 1 Dubious Purchase. So the bigger our Starship is, the better off we're going to be here. It's just a question of whether or not I want to Defense Crystal first. I think I do. I can go ahead and Defense Crystal and potentially be able to cube it next turn. It just means I have to put this damage into the minion. So it feels a little bit weird. I don't like to do that, but in this particular matchup, we're really more of the control deck. We need to try to make plays that are going to maximize our health. And unfortunately, this is kind of looking like a turn where our opponent is going to draw just an insane amount of cards, giants coming down, and lots of shenanigans here. Yeah, giants likely going to be playable. Definitely going to be playable now. Maybe we get lucky and they're in the bottom 5 cards of the deck. But unfortunately, it looks like we're just getting the classic rogue treatment here. So just a good draw from our opponent, and they appear to be playing it relatively well. So I'm not expecting things to really go our way here. But we'll see. Drawing more cards. Damage. There's 1 giant. 2 giants. That is unfortunate. 5 asteroids in the deck. 2 giants drawn. Does the Fumigate do anything? We have an elemental. Undead. That's an elemental. There are 3 beasts on the board. Fumigate would remove 3. These guys could remove 1 of the giants. Cube is probably still the best play. I can remove the Wisp. The Weapon Swing. And do this. Actually, I think we're removing this. We don't want him to be able to play another Moonstone Mauler. So we're going to make a play like this. And unfortunate, we've got the Moonstone Sniper from our opponent here. Starship's still looking pretty small. And if we play Rest in Peace, they're actually just going to get a giant back after these die, so that's not going to be preferable. That's pretty likely they have to trade one of these. I don't think they're actually just going to leave up the cube. But the Incendious comes down. The only way that I can kill the Incendious is to launch the Starship here. And make the trade as expected. And the Starship is only 2 Arcanite Crystals. It launches basically our entire turn, but we have to kill the Incendious. Even killing the Incendious I think it's pretty likely that we're still losing this match. But if we are going to win, it's going to be on the back of this particular play. On the plus side, I mean, we can rest in peace twice. Next turn, get back 2 of these. But unfortunately, we're giving our opponent the 8/8 Giants back into play. So likely a losing matchup, but I don't think you ever want to concede in situations like this. Play it out and see what happens. Opponent hitting eruptions. We're only actually healing for 8 armor when this ship dies. A bit unfortunate. So they have 3 eruptions, 4 asteroids. And we are at 16, and I think we may actually just die now. I believe we are just dead here. We are. So a pretty good game from our rogue opponent here. They had the draw, and they played it well enough to be able to kill us. So good game to them. Up against Paladin here, I think I have been seeing more just like Aggro Paladin, more so than anything else. Just playing small minions on the board. So I kind of want to keep both of these because it guarantees plays early in the game. I would really like to have a Shatter Shard turret. But I don't want to throw away playable minions, so I'm going to keep both of these. And we actually got the turret here, so maybe this is our... we got a Tusk Piercer. I'm going to hold the weapon swing. Wait and see what we're up against. They did keep the far left card. It could be Murloc Quest. It is not Murloc Quest. This is looking like... They always have this card. Pretty obvious turn here. We put down the card with the largest upside. We'll be able to Shatter Shard next turn and clear up minions on the board. We have the weapon swing, so I think we're in an okay position here. We just want to remove as much of our opponent's board every single turn that we can, simply because we know that they're going to be playing buffs, exactly like this. And our opponent choosing to go face here. So this actually works out really well for us. Well, it works out somewhat well for us. So we'll do that. And it's either kill the Wisp or the Mech, the Undead or the Mech. The tribal tags do make a difference for this deck. And this is also the highest attack, so we're going to trade just like that. And no reason to swing the weapon here. Also important to keep in mind, we do have 4 Death Rattle minions in the deck, so we are not going to be guaranteed to be able to draw the Arcanite Defense Crystal that we would really like to draw. We do hit Arana. I need to remove something. I may have to launch my Starship next turn. I would like to have Divine Shield on it, so I'm going to make my play like this. Remove the highest attack minion that I can. You can see that we actually do hit the Fellbat here. Exactly what we did not want to hit. No defense crystals, we're at 18, and we're having trouble removing our opponent's board. So unfortunately, it kind of feels like this may actually just be a bad matchup. I think this is a pretty typical draw from an Aggro Paladin. So if you're seeing a lot of Aggro Paladins, maybe this isn't the deck that you want to be playing. They could have Crusader Aura here. They could have the Summon a Mech Buff Your Board card. Can't remember the name of it.
When I shoot ya, it's gonna hurt.
Unfortunately, they're just continuing to buff. And our opponent actually makes a massive misplay, and they decide to trade instead of go face. A massive misplay. Yeah, and unfortunately, like, this doesn't have taunt either, but I don't have a choice. Like, I have to launch here. So our opponent has 7 on the board. We're really close to just being dead. Flash Sale is the card that I was thinking of last turn. And I believe we actually just die here. Exodar does nothing. Cube doesn't do anything. And we are dead. We get a warrior. So again, we're just looking for our early starship pieces, as well as an Arcanite defense crystal. We actually blank on everything that we want. But we do have some card draw. Unless our opponent gets a really, really favorable draw, they're not going to be able to put out a target dummy until later on in the game. Top deck defense crystal. I like it. Would love to see a dimensional core or battery here. If not, we'll just commence to drawing cards, trying to find some plays. Paraglide, not really what I was looking for here. Again, just hoping for some plays. And we see that it probably is just going to be Mech Warrior. And we're just struggling. I can overdraw my opponent 2 cards. I also overdraw myself 1 card. How relevant are the overdraws? Probably not very. I can just draw 2. And we do hit a Tusk Piercer. Likely next turn we coin out the defense crystal on turn 5. It hasn't been removed. They hit the part scrapper. So they'll be able to play a cheap minion next turn. Hopefully not Ziliax. I would like for the defense crystal to survive so that we could go ahead and cube it. We will see what happens here. They could play the 1 mana target dummy, equip the weapon. Like, they definitely have ways to be able to remove this board. If they can't remove it, we're in relatively good shape. And unfortunately, they're just able to play the Ziliax out here. And it kind of leaves us with no really compelling plays. So I think we're going to draw. And I can actually remove their Ziliax. I don't think... Oh, this isn't a mech. Okay. For some reason I thought this was a mech. I'd be able to kill this and the Ziliax, but I can't. And no reason to swing here. Next turn we'll be able to get down the Ferocious Fellbat, and then likely the following turn we'll be able to get down a cube on something. And unfortunately, they have a cube, and we cannot kill their cube. And they're just going to be getting repeated Ziliax. That is not good for us. That is super, super bad for us. But not a whole lot that we can do about it here. I'm going to swing and take the Divine Shield off. This is interesting. I've never been in this situation with this matchup. Just the poisonous from so many Ziliax is going to be really, really bad for us. Just a repeated Ziliax every turn coming off the cube. And they actually top deck another cube. This is what I mean when I say Hearthstone has been being mean to me today. Like, look at this. What exactly am I supposed to do here? Like, it's just a never-ending stream of Ziliax coming out. I am so far away from being able to kill my opponent. I guess I just need to continue to make as many defense crystals as I can. And then try to go for the kill with the cane play. This is going to have to get very, very big in order to do that.
I grow impatient.
But I do think it's possible. So that'll add 16 attack. It would then be at 24. And we're just going to continue to try to get down a bigger and bigger starship. At some point we're going to launch. And on the turn that we launch, we are going to also dissolve our own starship. Hopefully these can keep us safe. I mean, they can't really pressure our life total without the target dummies. So from their side, this line looks maybe unbeatable, but from our side, just knowing that we have the cane starship play, it doesn't feel as bad. I'll have a total of 3 Ziliacs. And I can actually fumigate to remove one of their cubes now. I also have the Exodar to be able to launch for health when I need to. If I can draw a Rest in Peace, that can potentially be a good option. I think I just cube and fumigate here. Could also just get down a Ferocious Fellbat. They hit, that's 8. 15, that would be 20 damage going face.
I grow impatient.
16, 24. 32, and they're at 32.
Time grows short.
Believe this is the play. So on 10 mana, I can launch and dissolve. And again, they can't super efficiently pressure our health total with just what they have on the board here. They're also going to be board locked for some of these turns as well. But it is at least somewhat threatening. Not even necessarily, I mean, Exodar and heal for 54, well, more than that, is pretty compelling here, but if I don't hit a Rest in Peace, I'm not going to be able to kill my opponent. But we're at 36. Again, I'm not really worried about dying, it's just about navigating the turns to be able to get to my OTK. Certainly if I can launch and heal from the launch, and I should definitely be killing them. Although they are at 37 now. It continues to get bigger. When I launch, I'll be able to remove a couple of minions, though. So, let's see, that's 10. 18. They're going to have 28. If I go cube on this, I get my 4/5s. Do I just have to launch?
Demons? Demons.
The problem is, I feel like if I launch, I don't win. I need to launch next turn and Dissolving Ooze.
I grow impatient. Time grows short.
I think the play is this. Let's make the starship bigger. And go ahead and fumigate one of these. That's going to save us some damage. Go ahead and get down this guy as well. So they go hit, hit. They can push 16. Again, we should be more than safe. Starship continues to get bigger. We're going to launch. We're going to heal double the health, which is going to put us way out of range of what our opponent can kill us at. And we're going to Dissolving Ooze our own minion for the buff, and then we're going to kill them with the cane here. So this is going to be the game where we actually get the combo off. It's just making sure that we get safely to the combo for this particular matchup. And honestly, if they're not killing us, they're probably going to have to remove the cube, which they do anyway. But again, I think we're just super fine here. We're going to heal a ton off of the Starship launch, and then we're also going to be killing our own minion, which is going to be an additional 8 Arcanite crystals. I'm going to trade this guy first. We will launch. And I don't think our opponent is going to be able to armor out of range here. Maybe they can. We will remove one Ziliax with the Divine Shield. And we will do this. At the very least, we have bought ourselves a lot of time here. Kane is going to have 41 attack. We can get up to 43 with the swing and the hero power. So I think they just get out of range with second shield block and a hero power. Come on, pins and needles. And it looks like our opponent is at 39, so we're going to be closing them out with the combo, as promised. You can see that we just beat the army of Ziliax here, so it feels like a really, really good matchup for this deck. If you're seeing a lot of Mech Warrior, I feel like this is going to be a good option for you.